Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a controversial one, as we'll be discussing why Marvel movies are not good now. Before we get started, let me preface by saying that I am a big fan of Marvel movies and have been following the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, since its inception. However, as a film enthusiast, I have noticed a decline in the quality of Marvel movies, and I believe it's time to address this issue. So without further ado, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
One of the biggest issues with Marvel movies today is the lack of originality. Many of the recent films have followed a similar formula and have become predictable. We've seen the same plot lines, the same character arcs, and the same action sequences repeated over and over again. While it's true that some of the earlier Marvel movies also had predictable storylines, they were still able to maintain a sense of freshness and excitement because they were exploring new territory. However, the recent Marvel movies have become too formulaic, relying on cheap thrills and predictable outcomes. For example, the villain in many of the recent Marvel movies has been a variation of the same formula, a disgruntled individual seeking revenge. This lack of originality has made the movies feel stale and uninspired. Another issue with the recent Marvel movies is poor character development. While some of the earlier movies did a great job of exploring characters and their motivations, the recent movies have failed to do so. Many of the characters have become one-dimensional, with their personality traits and quirks being played for laughs rather than being explored in depth. For instance, take the character of Thor. In the earlier movies, we saw him as a proud and arrogant god, who had to learn humility and sacrifice in order to become worthy of his powers. However, in the recent movies, he has been reduced to a caricature, with his depression and alcoholism played for laughs. This reduction of a once great character has been disappointing to many fans.
Singularly unattractive character, I must say.
Another issue that has plagued the recent Marvel movies is an excessive focus on humor. While humor has always been a staple of the Marvel movies, the recent movies have taken it too far. Many of the jokes feel forced and out of place, and they disrupt the flow of the story. For example, in Thor: Ragnarok, the humor was so excessive that it took away from the emotional weight of the story. This was particularly evident in the scenes where Asgard was being destroyed. Instead of allowing the audience to feel the tragedy of the moment, the movie undercut it with humor.
You are not funny.
And now we'll go to the special effects department.
Marvel movies have been known for their impressive visual effects, with many of their action sequences relying heavily on CGI. However, in recent years, Marvel's CGI has become increasingly artificial and less realistic. This is partly due to the sheer number of special effects shots in their films, which can lead to a rushed production process and limited time to refine the details of each shot. Moreover, heavy reliance on CGI has resulted in a loss of practical effects, which can create a more immersive and believable environment for the actors to work in. The abundance of CGI can sometimes overshadow the storyline and character development, leading to a less engaging and emotional experience for the audience. Finally, the recent Marvel movies have lacked stakes. In many of the recent movies, it feels like the characters are invincible, and there is no real danger to them. While we know that the heroes will ultimately triumph, there needs to be a sense of danger and risk to make the story compelling. For example, in Avengers: Endgame, the stakes were high, as the fate of the universe was on the line. However, in many of the other recent movies, the stakes feel low. This lack of stakes has made the movies feel unimportant and has taken away from the overall experience. So there you have it, those are my thoughts on why Marvel movies are not good now. While I'm not saying, don't forget to hit the like button. Comment what you think about the current state of Marvel Cinematic Universe. See you guys in the next video.